Election Commissioner Arun Goel has resigned. His tenure was till 2027. Let's go across to Nikunj Garg for more on this story. Nikunj, a surprise development. Give us more details. What do we know at this time? We also know that we only had a two-man election commission right now.
Well, yes, Gargi, this is a sudden and surprise move. There was obviously no indication available to the fact that Mr. Arun Goel, who was the other member of the poll panel, according to the arrangement in the poll panel, CEC is just first amongst the equals. So they're actually all the equal members of the panel. So we already had one vacancy in the form of the retirement of the previous member, and now Mr. Arun Goel suddenly resigning, and even President accepting his resignation, barely. In fact, one can even say barely hours ahead of the announcement of the moral code of conduct. Certainly comes as a sudden development, and whether the government intends to appoint new election commissioners to the poll panel, because remember now the entire process of the appointment of the election commissioners has changed after the government had brought in ECI's service and emolument bill, and it later turned into an act by the mandate of the parliament. So the entire process is now changed. The Prime Minister, the LOP, are now part of the selection panel, so that whether the government wishes to convene that committee's meeting so quickly, or whether the entire conduct of the national elections, which is the general elections of 2024, would be done by the Chief Election Commissioner himself, is something which we will have to wait out and see. However, this now leaves, as you said, poll panel only with the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Rajiv Kumar. Poll panel has actually almost completed its countrywide tour of 8 to 9 major states that they do before the announcement of the moral code of conduct, and it is being widely believed that sometimes in the middle of the next month, which is around 12th or 13th of middle of the next week, I beg your pardon, the moral code of conduct should come into force. But how this sudden development now pans out at the election commission itself, and whether the government wishes to call the poll bodies selection panels meeting, we will have to wait out and see.
Right, Nikunj, because already it was being remarked on that, the election commission consisted of only two officers, the chief election commissioner and another election commissioner being Arun Goel, and whether we were going to go into these elections with just two on the election commission panel. But now with this resignation, already there was one vacancy that had to be filled. Now two vacancies have to be filled. And this comes even as earlier today we were reporting how the election commission is going to Jammu and Kashmir, and possibly the announcement of elections will take place around, 14th or 15th of March.
Absolutely. As I said, that newspapers have actually done an explanatory pieces on this fact, whether in the past ever election commission has conducted general elections, that is, for the country with only two members at the hiring seat of the poll panel, and they have cited previous instances. So that was that. But now you have a situation which to me appears to be at least unprecedented, that only the Chief Election Commissioner is now there. However, I am subject to be corrected, because there may have been a period where just the Chief Election Commissioner would have gotten into the role of conducting the national elections previously. But however, it seems to me an unprecedented situation. And not only has Mr. Goel resigned, but his resignation has now been accepted by the President through a gadget notification, which means that the poll panel is now firmly just led by SMC himself. And as I said, the whole selection process, criteria and process of the selection of the election commissioners has now undergone a change. So through the new process, whether the government will be able to quickly appoint two new members to the poll panel, or it will just be Mr. Rajiv Kumar going through the entire process, we will have to wait out and see, Dargi.
Right, Nikunj, we are waiting for opposition reactions as well to this. As you said, this is something very out of the ordinary. It's unprecedented. The fact that an election commissioner resigns just ahead of elections, and this sort of uncertainty, we don't know whether those vacancies, the two of them will be filled, whether we're going to go into this Lok Sabha election, which is such a key election, with just one election commissioner. So, waiting to find out what the opposition also has to say. But this information coming as an absolute shock at this point, isn't it? It's a complete surprise.
Well, yes, I will not call it a shock, but I'll certainly say it's a surprise. It's a sudden move. It's a surprising move, and a move which would certainly leave many baffled and asking for questions. Because the key point here is also this, that Mr. Arun Kumar's service the tenure, as you say, was there for at least 3 more years. So why would a member who has been appointed by the same government for a longish period of time, and government in fact went to the court also because his appointment was challenged at that point in time by the ADR in Supreme Court. So government defended his appointment, saying that there's nothing absolutely illogical. Supreme Court refused to intervene, and Supreme Court said that is perfectly all right. In fact, Mr. Goel actually resigned from his IAS service. He was at that point in time in service, and he resigned to become the member of the poll panel. And now suddenly he has resigned again. So I would say that developments are riveting, but let's see how it pan out from here on.
All right. Well, that is the big breaking news we're bringing you right now. We will continue to track this story. The Election Commissioner Arun Goel has given in his resignation, and his tenure was till 2027. So he still had some time to go. No information as to why this has happened. But as Nikunj Garg was reporting there, it is a surprising move.